When we'd meet at 8 o'clock in the breakfast room at the Hyatt, and if I'd come to Toronto for events other than to see Gary, I'd usually meet him there anyway, because that's where he hung out.
When I'd go there, they'd say, well, Mr. Miles was just here, or Mr. Miles, and I'd say, well, is he the manager of the hotel, or what? No, Mr. Miles. Mr. Miles is everything around here.
I was fortunate enough to be invited to many of his parties, and he threw really neat parties. And they were all kind of the same, in the same format. You would get an email or a written note saying, you know, we request the pleasure of your company on this date. And you say, what? That date was 6 months away. This is anal with a capital AIM. I walk up in my Sunday best, and I know he wants to say, you look great, and thanks for coming. I hope traffic wasn't too bad, and that's what he wanted to say. But what he did say, as he handed me oven mitts and an apron, was potato lyonnaise. Recipe's over there. Go, and you're late. So he has all the men in the kitchen doing the cooking.
Went to a dinner party at Gary's house. Gary had his chef's jacket on. He had his clogs on. It was a production like no other. He put me in the position that he thought worked best, which I cleaned the pots and pans. But that was as close as he would let me get to the food.
To me, he epitomized everything that I hate about a colleague. He came to work at 6 in the morning, which I hate. He was dressed to the nines, with these expensive suits and ties. He looked fantastic, which I hate. He didn't eat meat. He didn't drink. He didn't play golf. It's like, what am I even talking to this guy for, let alone spending 20 years roaming around the country with him?
I first met Gary in Winnipeg when he arrived there to manage radio station CKRC. He came from Regina, where he had managed a radio station and also played in a band in the bars. You know, he was one of a kind. When he came to Winnipeg, he wore the biggest fur coats and fur hats of anyone we knew, and so he always made a statement.
Gary was I think we called him the CEO of the Rogers Radio division. So he was the guy responsible for 54 radio stations across the country. You know, Gary was terrific. He was a terrific executive. He was a real student of radio. He cared a great deal about it. Probably, though, his strength was with people. He really was great at developing people, recognizing people, encouraging people to do their very best. He was a tough boss. He was no softy, and I think I won't be the only person to tell you that. But he did it out of a sense of caring for them and wanting to get the very best out of them.
It's quite unique because radio is a cynical business, you know, and behind the scenes, lots of people say, you know, I know what's going on, but he doesn't. But in Gary's case, they didn't say that about Gary. They knew that he knew what they knew. So he was on top of everything. He was a really good guy in that respect and got results.
It's like taking a rock star around the country because he traveled so much and he is so personable that it was always the same. We would drive up in the taxi, there'd be 6 guys there, pulling open the door, helping him out, taking him over to a chariot like Julius Caesar, following the rose petals up to the elevator and saying, how are you, Miss Miles? You look wonderful. And Miles is doing his whole, how's your aunt's brother's next door neighbor's cousin? Is he still okay? Did he get my card? You know if he got my card? Because I really love that man.
I mean, he pretty much got involved with everybody he met. And he would remember names and he would remember faces, and yeah, he was an individual, one of a kind, and as we all know, he went too soon.
his team, they were about the best. And I don't know anybody who was better.
I am delighted that I am in the same company as Gary Miles, who so richly deserves this honor.
So this is great. This is great. This induction is good for him.
Gary Miles was my mentor and my very good friend for 25 years. Gary had a significant impact on my life and on the entire Canadian broadcast industry. Gary leaves behind a legacy of strong leadership and sincere care and concern for all of those who worked with him. I can assure you that it's very gratifying for me and for all of those who knew and loved Gary to know that he's being recognized in this very special way tonight with his induction into the OAB Hall of Fame.